Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today we're going to go over the brand new joint operations. Now, they do require you to be 75. They do require you to be high CS score. Or do they require it? I think you just need to be moderately geared in order to go in there. But are they even worth doing? Depends on where you are in the game. So we're going to talk about if it's worth it or not. If you guys can't hit that like and subscribe, check out the Tower of Fantasy playlist, and let's get started. And then this is more just a theoretical talk on if you should waste your energy in here or if you should use your energy in here. Now, if you guys are just looking for some information, these two joint operations are pretty easy to do. I'll probably cover them in detail in another video, especially as I am able to solo them. So maybe I'll show some tips and tricks there. But what I do want to talk about are these brand new is the Sadness Valley and the end game. I guess it's, I don't know. So the end game is the puppet, and the Sadness Valley is actually the Weaver. And if you've been doing the gray zone, or you've been doing the story or anything like that, that should be very familiar to you. So a couple things I want to do. I'm going to move my camera in the middle here. One, it does suggest that you have 54,000 CS. Now, I think that's a little off, in all honesty. I actually think you can go in here with about 40,000 with a full group of 4 people. Now, you got to be a little coordinated, but since you get increased frost and flame damage, it's definitely very doable. A lot doable if you have a couple whales in there and stuff like that, or a couple dolphins in there. Now, the Sadness Valley is probably the easier of the two to do, obviously. And what you're looking for is that you see that you have this increased frost and fire damage. Now, if you're a frost and fire main, this is a perfect dungeon. If you're a volt or physical main, this other one is the perfect dungeon. I don't know why it doesn't let me select other things. It's so funny. But just to give you guys a sneak peek, I'm going to flash it on screen right now. There is 2 other dungeons coming out in 2.3, which really covers the gambit. You'll have Volt and Fire, which I'm a Volt and Fire main, and then you'll have Frost and Physical. So if you're not a Physical and Volt main, you may want to wait on these. You don't have to wait, right? Obviously, that's a long way. That's like 2 or 3 months. But just to let you guys know, there's 2 other joint operations on the way that fill the gambit. Now, Sadness Valley is probably the easier of the 2 to do, especially with the cheese. As I'm showing on screen now, all you have to do is jump off the back side, hit that grappling hook, and whee! You're all the way to the end. Easy peasy. This is probably the fastest done. You get 4 people together that can do this. So quick. So insanely quick to do this dungeon. But let's go ahead and talk about if this is worth it or not. Let's first talk about the matrices. Now, the matrices, I just want to point out that you don't just get barrel matrices. You have a possibility to get any single matrix, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So why is it a bad thing? Now, if you can see here on any of my essentially primary weapons, I always tend to run, and this is about 90% of people, you're going to run 2-piece Crow, 2-piece Samir. Now, 2-piece Shiro can be pretty good here too, but as soon as you start getting high crit rate, Crow matters. So if you're not to the point of your Tower of Fantasy career that you're at 2-piece Crow or 2-piece Samir, and then you're not doing that dragon, you're not doing that Sobek, you really need to focus your Joes around that. So if we go back into the Joe page here, right, you're really going to want to focus on this space-time training and then probably the stronghold, because getting 2-piece of those and 2-piece Samir, now there is the Gachapon, and in 2.1 we should get the Crow Gachapon, so you might be pretty good on Samir matrices depending on if you waited or not, and you might be pretty good on Crow matrices at 2.1 if we figure out where they are, but that still should be your priority. Those matrices are just so good from a primary DPS. Saki uses it, Samir uses it, Crow uses it, Ruby uses it, they all use it. It makes it absolutely amazing. So that really covers the matrices that you should be concerned with. Now, the other concern I do want to point out is that if you are not like my account where you have pretty decent gloves, and I would still like to get a 4K pair of gloves or a pretty decent set of boots. I obviously have the wrong boots on here. What the or like these pair of boots right here, which rolled really, really good. Your priority is not going to be to do the new Joes, and that's just the rub. you're still going to want to focus on that deep sea stronghold in order to try and get those gloves, and you're going to want to focus on that deep sea proving ground in order to get those boots. Now, that brings us, well, Kyrios, what is, why would I do this then, right? Well, it's beneficial if you're just looking for an overall increase in gear. You've maybe got some good gloves, you got some good boots. Now you just need to fill out all the rest of the spots, and you already have gold gear, and you just need to get better static gear. Then it's better to do these, right? Because they're going to give you a higher percentage chance in order getting like volt attack and volt resistance. Now, it's going to feel a little bad. In times, it's going to feel worse than actual Joes, in my opinion. You're going to get gear like this that dropped from me earlier. Physical attack, volt attack, physical resistance, physical volt resistance. Now, this isn't a bad piece per se, right? But what you're really looking for is you're looking for pieces like this that dropped from me earlier, right? We got physical resistance, physical attack, and then flat attack. As a big tip, you want to make sure that when you're rolling on gear, that you're only rolling on gear that has your main stat and also flat stat. And the reason why that is that it just gives you more of a buffer room in order to try and get the stats that you're looking for. Now, flat attack rolls not as great as your actual primary elemental attack. And elemental attack is technically better, but flat attack works for everything. But you'd rather it fall into flat attack and miss all the other ones, so it gives you just a better buffer zone when upgrading gear. So typically when I upgrade gear, I usually wait until I see a flat attack and the element I'm looking for, and ideally it's got both of the elements I'm looking for. So unfortunately for me in the joint operations, I'm a volt and flame main, and that's really just not going to help me out most times. Am I going to do the new ones? Probably. But the fact that it's volt and physical, I'm not a physical main, I technically should be waiting until 2.3, where we have the new joint operations that has volt and fire to optimize my energy flow. But, at some point, you got to enjoy the game, right? You got to have a little bit of fun. The other thing that is going to happen is that you're just going to get a ton of fire. It's just going to have a ton of resistance gear. For some reason, that resistance, like I said, I rolled this piece earlier. That resistance stat just has a higher percentage to fall in there than the actual elemental attack, it seems like, or at least it seems like to me. I'll take some more detail, or I'll take some more notes and see if we can find a trend. But I haven't seen any data mined around it. So generally, if you're looking for just overall gear increases, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not looking for gloves right now. I'm not really looking for boots right now. They're pretty decent. They're going to get me by. I'm really looking for like really insane elemental attack increase to take me to the next level, to take anyone to the next level. Then this is perfect, right? Because you can get any of those pieces with a better chance of getting your elemental attack. All right, and this has been a long video. I just do long videos, guys. You gotta love it, right? I want to talk about the data mine real quick. Now, the data mine that we have is on the left-hand side. This is a spare of what we've been doing before. And if you've seen any of my other videos where I talk about the percentages, I'm getting the third chest and the second chest, and definitely not the first chest. You can know that you can usually get better and better, faster gear. Now, the thing I do want to point out is that the level 75 like end game is the same as the level 70 joint operation. So you can see those percentages are the exact same. And what I do really enjoy, though, is that as we go up in the difficulty, as soon as we hit level 80, it's probably worth it to actually start farming this a lot more, especially with third chest. Because if we get up to like that 9%, ooh, man, that's hard to pass up, right? Just start farming third chest with those joint operation tokens. And you're gonna be flowing in a little bit of gear there. So I like what I'm seeing here. I just don't think it's just as my final thought here. I just don't think the 75 endgame is completely worth it unless you're at the point where I'm kind of at. All right, guys, that video was all over the place, but I think that should help steer you in the right direction, that you probably still need to go back to joint operation 6, 7, 8 and kind of farm those, and those should be your priority, and crit should still be your priority. And the worst part about the end game is that, like, if you do get like a glove from that, and then it rolls all physical resistance, volt resistance, volt attack, and physical attack with no crit stat on there, it's just going to feel really bad. So make sure that you're focusing on those dungeons that I talked about. And then as you get to the point that you just need to round out your gear, start working on the end game until we hit level 80 and then level 85. And then we can reassess the situation. I'll see you guys out there. Hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe, and fist bump from me to you.